Good morning, comic fans. Welcome back to Ka-Pow Comics. Not quite comics in 5 minutes. I am certainly never promising I'm going to get through my best of year rundowns in anything like 5 minutes. I usually am basing this on stuff I've read before, and there's probably some stuff I've touched on in the original review of things. So, I mean, I could probably have found a link and review for the other one, but I'm kind of in a workspace at the moment, and I was trying to get this out of the way. But we are reviewing something that I've loved. It is on my pull list, and it wasn't when I first picked it up. I picked it up to read and review it. Really liked it, added to my pull list, and I've not regretted it. It is very, very good indeed. Now, not just very good indeed, but good enough that it's taken me out of my thing of not particularly liking crime fiction and making me pay attention to it. It is in a couple of easy ways for me. First, it goes for the crime noir thing, and it does it really well. If you want to ask me what one of my all-time favorite crime movies is, it's LA Confidential, followed by The Nice Guys, I think it's called, and like Chinatown. That kind of thing I really, really like. And this one is very much over the period Chinatown kind of thing. And it's not just that style, although it's great, and I can talk at length, and I will do. There's use of shadow and light is really, really effective. It's noir. It's supposed to do that, I think, very well. It uses its color palette very effectively. So you get a sense of monochromaticism, if that's a word, without necessarily having to do it. They basically just use the color as and when it's necessary. It doesn't go full Sin City or even close to it. It's actually quite vibrant at times, but it's vibrant in very simple, effective ways, and almost like it's lit by certain colors of neon at certain times, and that is very, very cool. The page layouts also lead into this quite effectively. Sorry, itchy nose. There's moments where they use lettering to make the frames, and then frame the action within that. The next day is one that I always quite liked well, because they mix in the E and the X next to each other like almost an arrow, and that's where the action strike comes in from what's happening. Really nice little idea. Probably not the most difficult thing to do, but if you do it well, it looks really, really stylish. I've recently gone back and reread some early Sin City because they've been reprinting them, and Frank Miller does this trick as well, and he does it just as effectively. In fact, not quite as effectively as. I'm really going to struggle to pronounce his name. So if the people who wrote this or did the art for it find this and watch it, I do apologize. I've only ever seen these names written down. Tefengi. Tefengi. I do apologize. But the artwork is absolutely brilliant. It's simple when it needs to be. It gives it room for action and emotion to come out without overcrowding it with detail. And I think the detail would be wasted on it. It's in there sometimes, but it's never the point. It's not like Jeff Darrow or Derek Robertson, where you the detail is what drags your eye in. It's more the speed of it, the certainty, the surety of what they're doing is actually brilliant. Like I said, there's some fantastic action sequences in here. There's one where it's a guy who's been fallen into a little bit of a honey trap, should I say, and he gets jumped when he's not wearing much and uses his discarded clothes in the fight scene. Reminds me an awful lot of Jackie Chan-esque kind of stuff, and it's done brilliantly. It feels very, very cinematic indeed, and that's a very good thing when you want to do something that's crime noir. I think you can't really say it is crime noir without having an element of cinematicism to it. And it's a comic book. Capturing that movement and that motion within still artwork is difficult, but done brilliantly in this one. The story and the writing are also absolutely top-notch. The writing is brilliant. It's fast when it needs to be. It takes its time and does exposition when it has to, but it never lets you get bogged down in it, because what it does really well is tell you the bare minimum you need to know. It is drip-feeding you this story, because it is a crime fiction thing. They're not going to tell you what's going on straight away. They're going to leave threads lying around and expect you to find how they're connected together and have fun doing it, which is kind of the point. If they just told you who did it at the beginning, then the story has to work very, very differently. Don't get me wrong, I know some crime fiction can do that, and it's kind of fun to watch detective work, but I much prefer discovering the story as it's being presented. I think as a narrative idea, it works far better, and it's far more effective in this story. The characterization is great too. All the people you meet actually have motivations for what they're doing, even if sometimes they're quite simple because they are bit part characters. But the writer never just kind of lets them be bit parts, as if what's a line? There's no small parts, only small actors. It's that kind of thing. People who are on screen just a little bit still feel like they're fully realized. And once the camera, the POV is off them, they have other lives and they've got reasons why they did stuff, and they've got other concerns which feed into motivations which are presented to you in this comic book. It is an intricate, confident, dynamic piece of work, and I'm very happy to have put it on my best of the year list. I can't wait to see how it's going to carry on. I'm currently like well over halfway. Give me 1 second. Got the latest issue just come in today, which is issue 7. I think there's only 10 issues, so I've not got much left on it, but I'm really, really enjoying it. Every week when it comes in, it is like a high priority to make sure it's on my pile, make sure I'm going to get it read quickly, and it never has disappointed. Also, just my own personal kind of preference, it deals with ideas of representation at a time when Asian Americans were not just underrepresented, they were criminalized. And it deals with this very, very well because of the two, I'm assuming Asian American, or at least East Asian writers and artists who actually have done a lot of research. And at the end of every issue, there is back matter explaining what they're doing. They look into the internment camps and the rights that these people had and what their expectations was to be in society. Why one of the characters, this one, the good Asian, is an Asian police officer who originally was only able to serve in Honolulu and Hawaii because in that place he didn't strike so much of an unusual figure. But in this, he's actually in like mainland USA and he's dealing with all the prejudice that comes around as a result of that. And in the middle of all this amazing film noir storytelling, it never lets you forget that this is a bad place for Asian Americans in this period of time. To be honest, in an awful lot period of history, it's a bad time for Asian Americans. But it's handled really effectively. It never allows them to fall into a victimhood role. It shows their strength and it shows them willing to do what it takes to have a fair slice of the pie. Sometimes that can mean kowtowing and being the good Asian. And other times it means embracing criminality because the chances of legal work and legally earning money and gaining a place in society and owning property and doing good for their kids is taken away from them at the point of a gun or the barrel of a gun or the butt of a gun by the government and by the police. They had choices and they were not necessarily the best choice to make, but sometimes when it's the only choice, you're going to take it. And that aspect of the storytelling is really interesting. And I'm glad they put back matter in. For people, again, who've been following this channel for a while, back to when I was doing this podcast or just know me personally, this kind of stuff just interests me generally. I'm very, very far to the left on politics, and the idea of internment camps in America is horrifying, but I didn't know everything about it. But they've been, like the story, they've been drip feeding information through in the back matter and during the story as well. So much of what they're putting there is based on real things. Excuse me, names have been changed to protect the guilty. But it all comes together brilliantly. It's informative and it's exactly what I wanted out of this kind of thing. It's the kind of crime fiction that will appeal to me through and through, over and over, and make me go back and watch it, or in this case, read it again and again. And I'm very, very happy with it indeed. If you've been getting on your pull list, you consider yourself very lucky indeed. If not, the first volume is available at your local comic book store. Go and grab it and then just hang to fire until the second volume comes out. That's it for today. I'm going to come back tomorrow for number 13. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.